Welcome to Sports Talk, everyone. And in this today, where underdogs stories come true. Unlike the LA Rams, when the Patriots beat them, and I'm starting to get tired of it, you know? Getting tired of the New England Patriots winning, but hey, you know what? There's always a bright side to this. Like Clemson beating Alabama, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about is the championships. And the championships are, of course, it's the Stanley Cup and the NBA. I wasn't originally going to do it on Tuesday, but unfortunately, my predictions of Game 6 beat of That's All She Wrote, as well as Game 5, I jinxed it. But although I did watch the NBA Finals, well, I will tell you this. When I was, of course, working that day, the business was slow. And after the business was slow, I had to clock out. But before that, I wasn't even on schedule the day before the NBA Finals. Even so, I will say, of course, I did see the Stanley Cup. And at the first, the Blues were all serious business because one of the players just made 2 goals in one period. And then it was scoreless at the second. In between at the first intermission and the second intermission. And then we got 2 more points. But the last ditch effort is, of course, the Boston Bruins. Therefore, the Blues have claimed the Stanley Cup championship for the first time in 50 years since the franchise had started. That's been a long road, but hey, they made it. Now, they're the champions. Now they're Stanley Cup champions by beating the Bruins 4-1. Now that must have taken skill. But last night, right after I clock out, I got a chance to see the NBA Finals. And that's what I was saying, of course, is the NBA Finals. Now that was a thriller last night. Toronto suffered penalties and Golden State suffered injuries. Like first, when they had a close, and when Toronto was close to become the first time champions, Kevin Durant may be out, but Thompson's back in, but yet the job was done. Even so, although, just like that, and with period 1 over, or first quarter over, Golden State was leading. And then when we get to game 2, Toronto's leading. And then we get to game 3, which is unfortunate because Mark Thompson, well, I forgot to say. Yeah, but Thompson of the Golden State Warriors had did in his knee. He may have gone in the locker room, but after the commercial, he got back in. And then he gave the free throw. And then he gave his free throw. Just like that. But then after that, he decided to go, but although he did go, and he ran. I told him, yeah, I know this was on TV and I wasn't there. I told him, you cannot run when your knee is hurt. You cannot run. Therefore, he's done for the season. And with that, of course, we get to 88-88. But after that, it's just like, of course. I was like, of course, it's over. But when I got home, it was the final score. Yes, 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 yes. Well, but then it was 110, 212. It's all over. Oh, wait, nope. And they're reviewing it. So yeah, it's a last free shot. And Toronto made it in for 2 more points. And then Steph Curry threw the ball. Want the running bull, but unfortunately, it is all over. The Golden State dynasty has officially come to an end. And I was really, really happy that we're not going to let Golden State to go for 4-peat because their streak of the NBA Finals championship has ended. As well as their dynasty ever since 2 of the players have been injured. And yes, the last 2 games. Well, I thought the last game before Game 6 that we could get the job done. You know, that's what I'm hoping. That we got the job done. Although, don't turn it into a thriller and a close call. But now, after all these years, the Toronto Raptors have finally did it. And there's going to be a celebration at Jurassic Park. Well, not at the Universal Studios Orlando. But there is a Jurassic Park in Toronto. And everybody just jumping. Even my co-host, KMC, who is Canadian, by the way. Well, African-Canadian, by the way. Who's my co-host of Geek City. You can watch Geek City on Anchor FM. Just like I say, I'm very happy about this. I am really, really happy about this. This Golden State, well, usually infuriates me, and I know, even though I was gonna say that's for Houston, I do kind of feel sorry for Golden State. And I really do, because after Durant and Thompson are injured, and that is really an unfortunate loss for Golden State. Even so, I will get the, and now you could get the Toronto, if you support the Toronto Raptors, the championship items are now available at stores. Well, and online at NBAstore.com. And if you're a fan of the St. Louis Blues, or you support the St. Louis Blues, then you can get it on NHL.com or NHLstore.com, which is part of Fanatics. On Fanatics.com, you know? And I can't wait to get the shirt, but you know what? Actually, good on shirts, but you know, like I say, we are, of course, Toronto. Toronto, baby. And even though I'm both of my teams, well, Houston Rockets, I was just mad because Golden State beat my team. Although my thoughts on it, I was really angry when Golden State wins, and also I was getting tired of that. But despite them lost their teams, their dynasty was also lost, and that's the loss I'm glad. Well, you know, other than the Durant and Thompson loss. Like I said again, even though that was for Houston, I do feel sorry for Golden State. And of course, St. Louis beating my team, Dallas, the Dallas Stars. Well, that's the only Texas team that the NHL got. And just like that, I wasn't too mad at the Blues because I did realize they had no Stanley Cup. Now it's like, are they the multi? I was like, are they the multi-cup champions? And then I took a look at St. Louis and it says, no, they don't have any championships. You know what? And one of the players is the hometown hero. He is actually from St. Louis. One of the players, one of the hockey players, wow. A St. Louis civilian is also the hometown hero. Wow. That's really interesting. Well, both of them are interesting. One, a hometown player, and of course, no Stanley Cups till now. Yeah. Well, though, my team 20 years ago have a Stanley Cup championship, and that was the underdog story. But 20 years later, the underdog story is back after 20 years. Well, I mean, Golden State were pretty close after the, right after, they made it the Stanley Cup. In memory of the victims of the mass shooting at Vegas. Yes, they came close, And I'm talking about the Golden Knights at Las Vegas. Although, yeah, like I say, sometimes miracles can happen. But sometimes You're just close. Just close. Well, just like with the New York Yankees. Game 7, they were very, very close. Even though they made it all the way right after the September 11th attacks happened. It's months right after the attack at September 11th. And of course, the Boston Red Sox have the championship. Had the World Series championship after the Boston Marathon bombing. And of course, even though they have, despite them having skill and a new player, at 2017, Houston had a hurricane problem. And now they are the 2017 World Series champions. After all these years, I've been waiting to see Houston become champions. And yes, that was our year. And we were going to be the 2-time champions and we were going to laugh at the Texas Rangers. But we came close. But hey, you know what? There's next season, and guess what? This next season is this season. And Houston will get it. And yes, I will keep up with NASCAR also when it involves the playoffs. And I will get an update on the winner. Even so, I will say that this has been really interesting. The underdog story comes true. Both underdog stories have came true. St. Louis Blues, the Stanley Cup champions, and Toronto Raptors, the NBA champions. Like I say, it could either be a miracle. It could be a miracle after a tragedy happens, a healing process. Or it could be an underdog story about a team that never had won a championship till now. But hey, you know what? Just like with Texas, the Texas Rangers, here's a message for you. Look on the bright side. At least you're not the laughing stocks anymore. Since your team, I know you're not at Dallas per se, but you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Mavericks and the Dallas Stars have a championship. Well, Cowboys have more. So yeah, there's a bright side to it. At least you're not the laughingstock team anymore. You want to know who is the laughingstock, Rangers fans? Always been Atlanta. With one World Series championship. No Stanley Cup championships. And, and the franchise was already gone. Atlanta. No championships. No Super Bowls. No Super Bowls. No Stanley Cups. No NBA. Just one World Series. They are the laughing stocks. Okay, guys. That's going to be about it for me for this. Congrats to congrats to the St. Louis Blues on their first Stanley Cup title. And congrats to the Toronto Raptors for their first NBA championship. Alright, guys, that's going to do about it for Sports Talk. I will see you guys next time, and remember, fight, fight, fight. Win, win, win. Underdog stories come. Really, very true. Well, although I'm going to need to work on the champs. I will see you guys next time. And once again, congrats to St. Louis Blues, the 2019 Stanley Cup champions, and the Toronto Raptors, the 2019 NBA champions. And KMC, congrats, man, on your team's victory. And I'm glad to have my home state and the rest of the 47 states, make that 46 states, to have your back. To have your teams back. And I'm glad you're my co-host, and I'm lucky to have a Canadian like you.